Hi everyone. In today's long game episode, we're doing something a bit different. So we visited Megawide's precast facility in Taytay Rizal, where we had the chance to interview their AVP for precast. So hope you enjoyed the interview. Hi everyone. So I am Jarrod Tin, research analyst at Dragonfly Securities. And today we are in Taytay Rizal in Megawide's precast facility. So today I have with me AVP for precast, Mr. Geraldine Nogud. So good to have you here, sir.
Yeah.
So I guess we have a list of questions on maybe technical questions about this precast plant. So let's get started. I guess to kick things off, can you please introduce yourself to us and tell us your story, how you ended up here in construction?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Gerald Bin. My colleague in Megawide, they call me Je. Yeah, for short. Sa akin kasi, I'm fascinated during college pa lang, when I was student pa, of how the building was being constructed, tapos yung mga bridges were built. That's why I got in college into civil engineering. And after that, talagang nag-pursue ako na to look for a company who will nurture me for this kind of vision or experience that I want to see.
Wow, so you've been in Megawide like ever since you were a fresh grad.
No, before I joined Megawide, I was from another company. Like I worked there for 4 years. Then I joined Megawide back in 2010. So currently, yeah, magsi 16 years na ako.
Wow, tagal mo na. So I guess this is one of the common questions we have. I guess, can you please explain to us in simple terms what precast technology is? So, how does building structures in, let's say, a precast facility like this, how is it different from yung traditional construction?
Okay, yung traditional construction kasi is an on-site construction wherein you encounter a lot of yung mga difficulties like mga weather constraints, delivery constraints, quality issues, how to control it, then a massive manpower. Wherein sa precast naman, precast is a separate facility, an off-site support of the building wherein we produce yun nga, different kind of precast products like beams, columns, walls. And with this facility kasi, we can control yung quality from each product. So we have a standard holding points for each product to produce. Then it's a pre-engineered then design. So planning pa lang, from the planning, so we will know agad how we will treat yung water leaks, how the facade will work through BIM, ganun na gamit namin. So we see kaagad during planning state how the building will be constructed. Plus, dahil offsite siya, good thing doon is, yun nga, mapapabilis yung construction. Because as a good example is like if you cast sa site for and controlling, yun nga, maraming tao doon. Then normally, cast on site would around like 2 floors a month. So sa precast, in our experience, we can do around three to 4 floors a month. So yan yung ano
So,
niya,
way faster.
way faster.
What would you say sets Megawide's precast technology apart from, let's say, other companies that also use precast? So, and also, why would a developer choose precast over the usual construction?
To answer muna yung first question mo, no, regarding yung comparing for other providers. No, as in Megawide kasi, we value kasi yung innovation at saka engineering excellence. So through engineering excellence, we redesign, we value engineer, then we see what are the problems that we might encounter, then converting it into precast elements. Innovation naman, in terms of innovation, so we have equipped facility, then we innovate yung mga process, we innovate yung mga products, what suits best para do sa project. So yun yung isa. Then pertaining naman dun sa why developer would choose Mega Precast in terms of we have the capacity in terms of reliability sa deliverables. What we commit, we deliver.
So, sir, I guess let's now dig deeper into the technical aspect. So, let's talk about hollow blocks. So, a lot of Filipinos know about hollow blocks. But in Megawide, the concrete you produce here, it tends to be stronger, right? So, how does it compare to a hollow block? And why do you say that the concrete made in Megawide is a lot stronger than your typical hollow block?
Now, for the precast kasi, precast is a solid cast concrete siya. So it's more dense than a hollow block. Sa hollow block kasi there's a lot of miscontrol sa site eh. So once you install yung hollow, then you put cement on it. Yung ibang mga worker kapag hindi maganda quality pagkakagawa, hindi nila kino-compact yung concrete inside. So there tend to be na mga air voids inside of it. So ang precast dahil we do wet cast, ganyan, it's more dense, it's more solid. Then for the mega wide naman, since we have a machinery and we're producing it 24/6 in a day. So in order for us to cycle sa production namin, we design our concrete around 8 to 12 hour curing lang. So we're reaching around 80% ng concrete strength in just a matter of 1 week. Now, ano yung sinabi ko kanina na 8 to 12 hour curing? We need to have it, the precast that we produced, let's say today, to have it cured by 12 hours so that for the next day, we can demold or remove sa production line namin, then cast another one. So kaya yung in terms of high yung sa concrete, we design it high early strength na talaga.
Got it. So parang there's a science behind the concrete. It's not like the traditional where parang the worker will just mix up. Parang siya na bahala, right?
Yes,
The mixture. This one is really calculated so that it's very strong.
yeah, correct.
Got it. So my next question, it's a bit of a parang weird question that I had in mind. So right in Mega White, you make the precast walls, right? How about the pipes and the wires? Because parang let's say it's like a slab of a wall slab. Eh, 'di ba the pipes and the wiring, parang they need yung mga holes, right? So that where the pipes can, move, right? Within the wall. So how do you structure that? Parang is that custom made ba?
Okay. Now, it starts with engineering, no? Sa engineering namin, we use BIM, no? We use BIM. So we incorporate yung MEP design namin. So sa planning stage pa lang, alam na namin saan dadaan yung pipes, then the location ng mga junction boxes, yung mga switches. Then we seek approval for the client for us to proceed. Then during production naman, as we lay sa table namin during casting, so nilalatag na namin yung mga pipes according to the plan. Then as we cast, kasama na siya i-cast yung mga, we call it MEP. So MEP stands for like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and sanitary. Yan, something like that. After natin ma-cast, so nandun na siya, nandun na yung pipes at saka yung mga junction boxes. Then pagdating sa install sa site, dun lang ikakabit yung mga wires.
So parang you describe precast, it's like Lego blocks, right? So you're building the Lego pieces and then pagdating sa site parang i-assemble na lang like Lego blocks, right? So I guess in terms of the installation, right? So once let's say the precast pieces arrive on the site, parang how is it installed? What holds them together? Like do you add more concrete or like mga bolts or screws ba? So how about talk about the installation process?
Okay, sa installation process, we have two process. We call it the pre-install and the other one is post-install. So for the pre-install, normally our design is in sa precast itself pa lang, as we produce, we expose some dowels. Then these dowels will be connected to the structure na hindi pa napupor. Example, pagdating sa site, install siya with some holding points like we call it push-pull props. Tapos yung mga dowels na yun, it will be connected dun sa beam. So dun sa beam with rebar and slab, i-connect namin yung mga dowel no wall. We will cast na yung slab and beam. That's pre-install. Then sa post-install naman, nauna nang nakast yung beam at saka slab. So darating yung precast natin, either yung design niya is bolted. So from yung mga maraming method, either late mo na ikasa yung bolt, tapos ano mo lang, either you use expansion bolt or use chemical anchor, or yung iba nakaabang na yung bolt, tapos ilalak na lang namin. Then the other method ng post-install is through bracket, either C-channel, I-beam, yan. So we weld it na lang dun sa structure.
I see.
Mm.
So very calculated process.
Um,
So another thing that I was curious, I guess, while I was looking around the plant was the batching plant, right? So I guess could you walk us through how the batching plant works. And I also heard na in the batching plant, I guess, you use a chilled water system, am I right? So parang
Yes.
how does controlling the temperature actually make the concrete more durable? And like, what is it really for?
Okay, now. Sige, to start sa batching plant, yung nakita mo kanina, our batching plant is an elevator type. So we store our aggregates on our central silo. So dun sa central silo, it has like 10 bins. Doon namin sinesegregate yung mga aggregates. It's a controlled environment. Hindi siya exposed sa dust, hindi pa siya exposed sa weather. So we control yung too much water. And our batching plant is fully automated. Now, pertains naman dun sa ask mo about sa temperature, yes, we have the chilled water. Then this chilled water helps the temperature ng concrete during recast to lower down. Kasi sa yung science at the back of it, kasi if your concrete is too hot, yeah, it will end up there will be some concrete temperature differences sa concrete as it cures, and it might end up like the internal cracks due to that temperature. So yun yung medyo parang layman's term ko dyan.
Yes. Okay, got it. So I guess my next question naman would be, so in precast kasi parang generally from what I see, it's more of standardized, right? But I guess there are some cases where even though it's precast, it will have to be customized. So parang in this plan, parang how much would you say is the ratio between standardized and custom?
Like the previous years, we do a lot of customs. And then we found out kasi, pero ano yan depends kasi sa order book namin. Then we found out due to a lot of customs, our efficiency drops. That's why this year, as we got yung recent projects namin na mga buildings like 4PAs na more typical, the good thing about dun sa mga typical naman is yun nga, high efficiency, standardized yung mga shutters namin or yung mga window or door opening, standardized siya. So yung naging ratio namin for this year is around 93% na yung halos standardized.
Wow.
So
Taas.
yun. Tapos yung 77% slowly ito yung mga non-standard like yung mga column, yung mga beams, ganun.
So just to make it clear, if it's standardized, parang it's more efficient, more profitable versus the custom.
Yes, more efficient, more profitable. Also cost saving din sa client kasi nga
Mas mahal kung custom, di ba?
mas mahal pag custom. Let's say every time mag-change ka ng mga door opening o di ka window opening, ganyan. So you will spend for additional shutters. Ganon din sa clients.
So I guess depende na lang with the client. If like he has the time and budget, then he can do custom.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, my next question naman is, I guess, calamities, right? Parang recently, parang last 2 months, there've been a lot of earthquakes, di ba? Especially like in Mindanao, right? So this is in people's minds. So parang how does Megawide's precast structure hold up against earthquakes? And is that something na from the design pa lang, parang you take into mind potential earthquakes na?
Yes. We sa precast, we characterize yung product into two items. One is non-load bearing and the other one is load bearing. Now, for the non-load bearing, ito yung mga parang external wall lang, kapalit ng CHB, no? So hindi talaga siya nagke-carry ng load. So load bearing is ito yung mga column, mga beam, yan talaga or like shear wall na nagke-carry ng load. Sa amin is as in Megawide, we made previously before we introduce yung full precast system ng building. We made such tests sa Japan. So naman sa Japan is talagang prone sila sa earthquakes, no? So we made such tests, then they have several tests. For that, then we check their codes, how we will adapt their codes. Then we introduce it in the market, yun nga, converting na ngayon yung mga design natin locally into that kind of precast system. And recently, there is some like codes na that I have attended specifically pertaining to the precast system. So aside from that, we test also our accessories in the US. Then we also test yung ibang mga products din sa Singapore. So in terms of quality, yung sa earthquake, we ensure also na we do a lot of tests before we yun nga, pursue sa ganong klaseng work.
Alright, so there's mga internally mga stress tests.
Stress test, cyclic test, and so on.
Okay, got it. So I guess another concern naman, aside from earthquakes, is rain, right? Typhoons, binabaha, right? So parang how does the precast structure hold up naman, I guess, against floods, heavy rain? Do the structures weaken ba once inuulanan? Parang,
Now for the concrete kasi the more yun nga it lasts kasi the more it aged lalo siyang tumitibay. Then especially kapag na-expose mo yun sa mga weather through heat at saka sa rain, mas lalo siyang tumitibay. Now in terms of sa mga high-rise siguro weather, it would last. Ang pinaka-common na question sa amin is yun nga, it's not how it breaks. Kasi alam natin na yung concrete is talagang is like a can accept yun nga compressive strength. Now it's how it moves yung sa mga through wind. Kapag so through engineering talaga kina-calculate namin yan. So ano yung certain gaps. So para kapag nag-move yung structure pati yung connection namin kapag nagkaroon ng earthquake, no, this is part of the calculation.
I see.
Mm.
Well, that's great to hear. Then I guess let's shift naman. Let's talk about more of the costing, the cost angle. Lately, right, you saw naman na because of the war, the fuel and oil prices have went up. Then I guess to a certain degree, baka yung cost of cement and steel, right? So I guess how exposed is the precast production to the prices of fuel, oil, cement, steel? So parang when those prices swing high, parang does it negatively affect the operations here?
Okay, good question. So that one we learned late na when the price increase sa diesel. At first we just look at yung logistic lang ang tatamaan. Then suddenly yung mga raw materials namin also increase because they also have logistic cost, also cost to maintain. So na-affect kami indirectly through increase ng mga raw materials. But not mainly sa direct na increase ng diesel. Kasi para sa amin, like for the logistic, na pag nagde-delivery kami, yung diesel is not like mainly affecting us. The main effect, yun nga, yung pagde-deliver ng raw material, yung raw material itself ang nagmamahal.
I see. So parang you would see na very minimal impact.
Insignificant siya yung impact dahil sa raw material.
Only the raw.
Only the raw material. So if the raw material increases, then we're getting seriously affected.
Pero parang if the raw materials increase, parang do you cut back on, I guess, deliveries? Parang basta may demand, you'll just keep on producing pa rin. No matter if nagmahal yun, cement, oil.
Yeah, subject pa rin sa supplier namin, sa client namin on the contracts. Like if like that for force majeure, we can claim, then we claim. Then if it's fixed, then we just continue. No? So normally, as long as hindi siya na-violate dun sa contract, then we just keep on continuing.
Then I guess let's now talk about more of this facility's capacity. How much of the facility's capacity is being utilized today? And parang how much more volume do you think it can absorb before needing to expand, I guess build a new facility or expand? Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the recent projects that we have, yun nga, we're already fully booked. So, in terms of capacity, we reach around 130, over na siya ng 30% sa capacity namin. That's why we decided to expand another facility in order to cater this kind of capacity requirement. So, by that, we're looking at an angle siguro by next year na mag-start na siya to handle yung excess capacity. Times kasi, in addition to that, yun nga, sometimes kasi may mga projects na nag-slide to whatever reasons, let's say may bagyo or let's say there's some raw material scarcity, ganyan. Once the project slides, we also consider that dun sa overbooking namin. So, kaya ginagawa namin, time to time, ina-adjust namin yung schedule namin. Pero ngayon, at this time, even though i-adjust namin, talagang fully book pa rin.
Yeah. So sir, when you say fully booked, parang how many years of backlog would that be?
Okay, yeah, good naman, kasi nga, as Megawide, receive 100,000 units from the 4PH
Yes,
projects,
housing unit.
housing units. No, we're looking at booking for good for 5 year.
Wow. So for the next 5 years, parang may sure revenues.
Yes, may sure revenue na. Now, ang pinaka talaga sagad namin, ang nakikita namin for itong the next 3 years kasi overbook pa rin kami.
Yes.
Kaya't, then yung ibang mag-spill over is papunta na ng 4th and 5th year.
Okay. Is Megawide parang building a new facility na ba? Parang are you planning to expand? Because parang overbook na talaga for this plant to cater to.
Yes, when BBM visited our facility, our CEO already announced na we will build another facility to cater yung mga ganyan yung housing demands. So we will build it in Cavite.
Okay.
So it's the same, it's almost same capacity as we have right now here in Taytay. So but that one in Cavite will focus first on the projects in Cavite. So in order to to reduce yung demand dito sa Taytay, tsaka yung transport from Taytay to Cavite, mas magiging accessible na sa kanila, Cavite to Cavite na lang. So yung time at tsaka speed ma-lessen. So yun yung ano.
Wow. So that's really great. Okay, so I guess let's talk more about the backlog, right? So right now your order book is at around 48.7 billion pesos, right? And then obviously that's you also have the 4PH pipeline coming, right? So parang how important is this precast facility in making sure that the the 4PH commitment is delivered on schedule? Parang is the precast facility the main engines for that commitment to for the 4PH to work out?
Oh yeah, nice question. Now sa Megawide, in order for us to maintain yung quality namin, deliverables, kasi kapag nag-on-site, so we have a lot of workers to hire, tapos to train, tapos there's a lot of rectifications to be done if we go back to farm works. So ang naging maiden trade ng team na management namin is to convert everything and expand precast facility, kaya siya yung precast yung naging main driver namin para sa ganyan, sa 4PH
Okay.
projects, pati yung sa mga internal projects namin.
So because in the 4PH mostly standardized, so parang it will really mainly use precast instead of the formworks, right?
Yes.
Then I guess let's talk about concentration. I guess with a few projects, like how's the concentration in the plant? I guess with a few large projects. So let's say suddenly a big project gets canceled. Parang does the utilization rate of the plant suddenly collapse or parang hindi naman masyado?
I would say it's siguro depending on the kind of product. Kasi we have different kind of production lines. You have the carousel line for the walls, another carousel line for the slabs, for the toilet, expandable naman kami. Yan. So if a certain project, let's say kanya would affect us, honestly, if it's 4PH, so yung majority ng order book namin is with them. So it will dramatically damage us sa precast. Pero ginagawa namin internally sa amin, we still have some reservation around 80-20. Yun yung plan namin, 80% internal, then 20% external. So in order for us yun nga, hindi siya solely na kung sakaling magkaroon ng problema, kumbaga meron pa rin kaming downfall, wag lang ma-zero.
Yes. Got it.
Mm.
Okay,
Pero
that's so
yung ngayon, yung current share namin ngayon, yun nga, like what I said earlier, nasa almost 97% na kami naka-focus mostly internal, which includes 4PH. Kasi nga, we made a commitment, so we value our commitment.
okay. So I guess my next question naman will be on the main strategy. So dati it was a 3D strategy, diba? So deliver, delever, decarbonize. Pero I guess based on last week, it's now 4D, diba? Deliver, delever, decarbonize, and dividend. So let's focus naman on the decarbonize. So what are you doing here sa precast facility to lower yung environmental footprint?
Okay, now for the environmental footprint, like yan, normally yan, yung precast is good for like mga LEED certification, for green certification, yan. What we do is yun nga, in precast, by converting kasi from CIP to precast, you reduce yung waste sa site. So there's not much waste. So using precast kasi yun resolves that waste. Then yung sa safety, it also, let's say if you're using yung mga scaffolding, so meron ka pang delivery ni ganyan. So may carbon emission din yan. So ngayon kapag ka-install mo na yung precast with the right engineering, with the right process, you'll eliminate, you'll lessen yung use ng mga ganon, yung sa processes, sa production namin, as we shorten, as we make it easy, pati sa site, affecting sa site, pati installation. So yung duration nila ng project, now from a good example, so let's say may project of 1 year, then you lessen up this project for 9 months. So imagine mo yung 3 months na decarbonation na masasave mo.
Parang that's what I like rin eh. And I guess investors, they're now starting to focus a bit more on ESG, di ba? Environment, social governance, right? So it's good to see na Megawide is really focusing on that rin.
Yes.
So I guess here, another question I would have would be, what's, I guess, the biggest misconception people have about precast, or let's say factory made concrete na you want to debunk?
Ah. No, good question na. Sa akin siguro sa dami ng mga ano ko, na-encounter ko. Una, yung understanding ng precast kasi iba kasi product to product lang tinitingnan. Oh, bakit mahal kaagad yung precast? In terms of the price.
Yeah.
Yan, ganun. Yun yung unang na nakikita comparing sa mga other system. But us kasi, para sa amin, depende kasi kung how subjective you view it. Na example, pagka kami sa side namin, we view it not only for precast to build a good quality. So we view it in general construction. So how much time we save, how much yung rental namin we save with a crane, yung mga diesel consumptions, manpower cost sa site, marami kami naka-cut off na cost in terms of quality, controlled environment, pag weather, wala kaming stoppage kasi nga we are on controlled environment. Aside sa site, kapag umulan, tigil ka eh. So yun yung mga yun yung siguro makakontribute sa topic na yan.
Yes. And then I guess, let's say you're a real estate developer. Parang, obviously, if you use precast, then let's say your hotel or your commercial space, it finishes faster, and you can monetize that na.
Yes,
Maybe your demands.
yes, yun nga. Depende sa perspective. Kapag perspective naman ng developer, sa precast naman, yun nga, yung turnaround time.
Yeah.
Some developers that I have talked, let's say, kunyari, from CIP na they're handing over for 2 years, tapos they tend to go to precast, they save, let's say, siguro, for quick calculation na they save another year. So, ended up, yung developer na nag-use ng precast, kahit medyo napamahal siya, he tends naman to open kagad yung business niya, then generate revenue. Comparing to the another, let's say, another competitor na 2 years lang, then so siya nagge-generate na, then can able to build another building for another year comparing do sa naunang developer na 2 years lang.
Okay. So for my next question naman, I guess in your view, running the operations here, the demand for precast growing here in the country, and do you see like more developers looking at precast as a way of building versus traditional?
Yes, I see it naman. So kasi nga in the first world country gano'n na talaga eh. So na they tend to go to precast na. Unang-una is scarcity ng skilled worker.
Yeah.
So pati yung mga labor natin ngayon medyo tumataas na, no? But yung quality kasi walang consistency kapag nandun sa site. So that's why yung market trends right now to precast para do sa quality, tapos yung consistency ng work, yun nga, mostly yung speed. Yun yung pinaka-high contributory.
So you would say na parang the infrastructure here in the Philippines, it's still kind of behind other countries.
Yes, in terms of siguro, yung nga age ng other countries like Japan, siguro mga 30 years advance na sila sa atin in terms of precast eh. Like Europe, around 50 years na sila eh. So us kasi ngayon, we're doing right now mostly bare concrete pa lang. So we're not doing yet yung massive pa mga architectural precast concrete. In terms of comparing yung sa knowledge sa iba, siguro yun medyo nauna na sila kasi sila nauna naka-experience na ganito.
Okay. Pero obviously, there's room to catch up, but
Yes, there's some to catch up.
and that's what Megawide is trying to do. Right?
Yes.
I guess a bit more personal. So, which of the projects done by Megawide do you feel parang it changed you? It's stuck with you. So parang you've made a lot of projects, I would assume, right? So parang which one of them stood out the most?
Okay. Stood out the most siguro yung mismong, ako yung mismo talagang nagtutok at saka na-manage. Siguro yung Candaba project. There's yung, siguro one is yun dahil tinutukan ko, I spend a lot of time on that. Then yung pangalawa kasi, yun nga, yung parang tulong mo sa community.
Yeah.
Ayun yun, how you help the community, although hindi siya straightforward, direct. So, kaya kapag nagdadaanan ko siya, yung Candaba project, yung NLEX, pag nadadaanan ko yung project yun, talagang tumatatak sa isip ko. I'm part of it. I'm part of the growth ng gano'n na country. So, ito yung sa kumbaga parang sa loob ko, isang naging trophy kong contribution ko.
Yeah, that's good. Kasi like me as an analyst, parang all I see is just the net income, the numbers. Pero what we don't see behind the scenes is the economic impact that all these structures contribute to the country. Diba?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's good to hear. Now, so I guess this is my last question. So, where do you think precast is heading technologically? So, parang what more innovations can, I guess, investors expect from Megawide, whether it be through automation, robotics, BIM, or AI?
For precast, us currently nagbi-BIM na kami. We're doing BIM na. So I think that's not something new. Me and our team is more engaging now sa AI. Yung AI more of sa mga processes, flows, ganyan. Then we're looking at paano yung sa mga documentations namin. Yun nga, through the help of AI, mas maging systematic yung movement namin. Sa innovation machines yan, slowly depending on the demand. So us sabi more of innovations kagaya ng mga steam curing to make the concrete much to cure faster. Yeah, so medyo halo-halo yung magiging namin. Then for the concrete, we're looking at innovations din sa concrete ng mga lightweight. We're looking at innovations din ng mga fiber concrete. And these are the studies that we're doing. It's just like yung execution lang, we're looking at the right time.
So parang we can expect like all these innovations. It will lead to more efficiencies pa and I guess faster build time. Right?
Yes, correct.
Cause so parang on average, how long does it take to finish like yung mga projects niyo? Parang what's your average build time?
Okay, average build time. Siguro to give a figure, let's say we have this project, I cannot say the name Like one floor consists of 88 units. Then it's a 16-story floor. Around 85% yung precast contribution dun sa building. Structurally, we finish around 4 months.
4 months. The whole 16 stories.
The whole 16.
Wow.
And 4 months.
And then after
excluding yung foundation. Kumbaga from hiwala yung foundation, hiwala yung finishing, ganyan. Mula ground hanggang roof deck. Yan, in my experience, together with yung EPC team namin, they were able to finish yun 4 months the fastest.
So that's the core structure. And then after that, in finishing works na lang.
Yes, the finishing works na lang.
Wow. So that's very fast. So very exciting. So yeah, I think that's the end of our interview. So thank you, Sir Jeff. I've learned a lot actually. Super.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again.
Yeah. So that's it for our interview, guys. So I hope you guys learned a lot from Sir Jeff and stay tuned for our next episode.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.